Alright, guys, let me ask you something. Have you ever thought that the change in your pocket could be worth more than your car? Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but stay with me because today, we're talking about a coin that could have you seriously reconsidering your collection of spare change. I'm talking about the 1995 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that, right now, is valued at a whopping $2.6 million. And no, this isn't some made-up story from the coin world, it's real, and we're about to dive into why that little penny could be sitting in your pocket, just waiting to make you a millionaire. But before we get started, grab that old jar of coins you've got sitting on your dresser, because you never know, you might just have one of these in there. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, a penny? Worth $2.6 million? Is this some kind of joke? But I promise you, it's not. If you've been collecting coins or even just paying attention to the world of rare coins, you'll know that some pennies are worth way more than their face value, and the 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of the big ones. So let's start with the basics. The 1995 no-mint Mark penny is a rare coin because it has no mint mark. For a bit of context, in case you're not a coin expert, no shame, I was once in the same boat. Most pennies minted by the US Mint will have a tiny letter on them, either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But the 1995 no-mint Mark penny? It was made in Philadelphia, but for some reason, they forgot to put the P on it. And while you might think, oh, that's just a mistake, it actually made this penny incredibly rare. When the mint made the mistake, they didn't exactly make a ton of them, which is why there are only a few of these coins in circulation. Now, here's where it gets interesting. For those of us who are into coin collecting or even just keeping an eye on rare items, we know that scarcity is everything. The fewer there are, the more valuable they become, and the 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is an excellent example of this. This penny wasn't just a mistake, it was a rare one, and now it's worth a fortune. Let me tell you, I once had a similar experience with a coin. I was going through some old pennies I'd found in a box I hadn't opened in years, and I remember finding this one 1955 penny that looked, well, just like any other penny to me at the time. I didn't think much of it, threw it back into the pile, and figured, meh, it's just another penny. Little did I know, that thing could have been worth thousands if I had done a bit of research. It wasn't until I started paying attention to the world of valuable coins that I realized what I had missed. And trust me, I'm still kicking myself for not checking it out earlier. The moral of that story? Always take a second look at your change, because one man's, just a penny, is another man's fortune. Now, let's talk about how you can spot a 1995 no-mint Mark penny. First things first, you're looking for a penny with no mint mark underneath Abraham Lincoln's shoulder. It should be a regular 1995 penny, but when you flip it over, there should be no mint mark in sight. If you do find one, don't just toss it into the jar like I almost did with that 1955 penny. It might just be a treasure. Okay, so how did this penny get to be worth $2.6 million? Well, as with anything rare, demand goes through the roof when collectors realize something is scarce. In this case, the 1995 no-mint Mark penny hit the market, and coin collectors went wild. The price started climbing, and now, if you find one in mint condition, meaning it's been kept in pristine shape, you could potentially be holding a ticket to a fortune. And, if you've been paying attention, you know this isn't just some speculative hype. Recent sales have shown that this penny has sold for upwards of $2.6 million at auction, proving that it's not just a rarity, it's a serious investment for collectors. But let's take a step back here. I know you're probably wondering how to get your hands on one of these elusive pennies. And while it might sound like a needle in a haystack situation, it's not entirely out of reach. As with any rare item, it's about knowing where to look. And here's the thing, you don't necessarily have to be a coin expert to get lucky. Many collectors start with the basics, checking their own coin jar, looking through rolls of pennies, or even browsing online auction sites. Yes, the internet has made it easier than ever to find these types of coins, but it's also made it a little trickier to sort through fakes. That's why it's important to do your research, get your coin verified by an expert, and make sure it's the real deal before you start dreaming of your next vacation to Bora Bora with all that money. You're probably thinking, well, that's great and all, but how do I know if I have one of these pennies? Great question. The answer lies in checking the penny for its minting errors. You're looking for a very specific flaw: no mint mark. Sounds simple enough, right? But sometimes, it's easier said than done. So, if you think you've got one, take it to a professional for appraisal. Don't just trust anyone claiming to be an expert. Find a reputable coin dealer or appraiser who can authenticate your find. I've seen it all, from people finding rare coins in their grandparents' old change jars to others stumbling across valuable finds in the unlikeliest of places. This one guy I know found a rare penny in a roll of coins he bought from the bank, just sitting there waiting to be discovered. It's those little moments that make the whole world of coin collecting exciting, and who knows? Maybe that penny you've got tucked away in your drawer will be the next big thing. Your quick guide to the 1995 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and how it went from being just another penny in circulation to a coin that could be worth $2.6 million. I hope this inspires you to take a second look at the pennies, and other coins, you've got lying around. You never know what treasures are hiding in plain sight. If this video has gotten you excited about checking your own change, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all the latest tips and tricks on coins that are worth more than you might think. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting started, there's always more to learn in the world of rare coins. And trust me, you won't want to miss out on the next discovery. I bet you never thought you'd hear someone say the words penny and $2.7 million in the same sentence. Well, hold on to your hats because today, we're diving deep into a penny that could make you a small fortune. I'm talking about the 1993 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yeah, you heard me right, a penny. It's not a typo, and no, it's not a dream. This little coin could be worth a whopping $2.7 million. Now, I know what you're thinking: how can a penny be worth that much? Well, that's exactly what we're going to uncover today. Grab your magnifying glass, because this is about to get interesting. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just look at your spare change in a whole new light. And, of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss more tips on how to find coins worth serious money. Alright, let's start with the basics. You're probably wondering, why is this 1993 penny so valuable? I can find tons of pennies in my couch cushions. Well, the key to understanding this coin's worth lies in its rarity and the perfect storm of circumstances that made it so sought after. So, first off, let me tell you a little bit about this particular coin. The 1993 no mint mark penny was part of the regular penny production by the US Mint. But here's where it gets interesting. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia carry a P mint mark, but in 1993, something went a little haywire. Some pennies were struck with no mint mark at all. This minor error made these coins stand out, and in the world of rare coins, mistakes like this are worth more than gold, or, in this case, copper. Now, you're probably thinking, how in the world did they miss that? Well, it happens. The minting process is complex, and not every coin makes it through the machines perfectly. But when a minting error happens, collectors go nuts. The more unique, the better, and this missing mint mark is one of those rarities that collectors and investors alike covet. The 1993 no mint mark pennies are extremely hard to find. Because they were such a small batch, most were caught early on and pulled out of circulation. That means if you've got one of these in your collection, you could be holding a true gem. How do I know if I've got one of these rarities? Well, lucky for you, it's not too hard to spot. The first thing you want to do is check the date, 1993. Then, flip it over and look for that mint mark. If you don't see a P or any mint mark, you've got yourself a valuable coin. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but if you get lucky, it could be your ticket to some serious cash. Now, let's take a minute to talk about why this penny is worth $2.7 million. We're not just talking about the fact that it's a rare error coin. No, we're talking about the incredible demand for these types of coins in the market. Collectors who are looking to complete their collections are willing to pay top dollar for the 1993 no-mint mark penny. And as the years go by, the demand keeps growing. That I remember when I first got into coin collecting, back in the day, I thought I had a real gem when I found a 1965 dime. I was so pumped. But after having it appraised, I realized it wasn't worth nearly as much as I thought. That was a big, whoops moment for me. But that's the fun part of coin collecting, you never really know what you're going to find, and it's always a bit of a treasure hunt. So, one day, I was going through some loose change I'd found in an old drawer, just like you'd probably do when you're bored or looking for a couple of bucks for a coffee. And sure enough, tucked in the corner of a stack of pennies, I found a 1993 penny that didn't have a mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. I thought to myself, no way. Could it be? It wasn't the $2.7 million kind of find, but it was a wake-up call for me. I realized how easy it could be to overlook a rare coin just because it's, well, a penny. But that little moment taught me to start checking the details more carefully. If you're anything like me, you've probably got some old pennies lying around that you've never even thought to look at twice. Maybe, just maybe, you've got a hidden gem like that 1993 no-mint mark penny. The best part is, you don't have to be a coin expert to start looking for valuable coins. It's all about having the right knowledge and a little bit of patience. You could be sitting on a potential fortune without even knowing it. Now, you might not be holding a $2.7 million penny right this second, but even coins worth a few hundred or $1,000 can completely change your perspective on what's in your pocket. You just have to know what you're looking for and how to spot it. Alright, folks, let's wrap this up. The 1993 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how something as simple as a penny can become incredibly valuable if you know what to look for. It's rare, it's valuable, and it's the kind of coin that makes every coin collector's heart race. If you happen to find one, it might just be your ticket to a small fortune, and that's pretty exciting, don't you think? If you're ready to start hunting for these rare coins and adding some serious value to your collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You'll get more tips, tricks, and insider info on coins worth money. And hey, you might just find your next big score. Trust me, I'm here to help you navigate the world of rare coins, and you won't want to miss out. Now, go check your spare change, dig through those old drawers, and start looking for those hidden treasures. Who knows? You could be the next person to find a penny worth millions. Have you ever wondered if that loose change sitting in your drawer could be worth a small fortune? Well, buckle up because today we're diving into a coin that's got a lot of people scrambling through their pennies, the 1984 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And let me tell you, this coin is no joke. It's currently worth a jaw-dropping $2.8 million. Yup, you heard that right, $2.8 million. Really? Well, don't rush to toss that jar of change just yet. Stick with me, because we're about to uncover why this tiny coin is worth more than your average dinner out. It's one of those crazy rare finds that proves the old saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure, can be more literal than you ever imagined, and trust me, this story gets even better. I'll also share a little personal experience of mine from back in the day when I stumbled across something just as surprising in my own coin collection. So, grab your coffee, settle in, and let's talk about why this 1984 penny is worth way more than a cent. Alright, let's get into it. The 1984 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. If you're a seasoned coin collector, you probably know that coins without mint marks are pretty rare, especially in the modern era. But how did this particular penny end up with such a high market value? Well, here's the scoop. Most pennies minted in 1984, just like every other year, have a mint mark on them. If the penny was made in Philadelphia, it would typically have a P mint mark, and if it was produced in Denver, it would carry a D mint mark. But for some unknown reason, a small batch of pennies from 1984 came out without any mint marks at all. These no mint mark pennies have become one of the most sought-after coins by collectors. Now, you might be asking, why are these so valuable? The reason boils down to rarity. Coins without mint marks are already a bit of an anomaly in the modern era. But when you add in the fact that the 1984 no-mint mark penny was produced in the early 80s, before the digital age of minting machines that track everything, well, you've got yourself an accident of history. This rare production error makes them incredibly valuable, especially to collectors who love a good mystery and a piece of history that's practically one of a kind. In case you're wondering, finding one of these coins in circulation today is like finding a unicorn. Most of the pennies were either spent or lost years ago. The ones that have survived are the ones that hit the jackpot. Coin collectors and investors keep a sharp eye out for this coin because it's not just valuable in the moment, it's a great investment in the long run. You might even think of it as the blue chip stock of pennies. And just like stock investments, the value continues to rise as fewer of these coins are found. I'll bet you're starting to wonder where you can find one of these pennies yourself. Now, I hate to burst your bubble, but don't expect to stumble upon a 1984 no-mint mark penny in your regular grocery store change anytime soon. These coins are extremely rare and are often sold at auctions or by reputable coin dealers who specialize in high-value coins. The truth is, if you're lucky enough to find one, it's likely to be an extremely valuable piece of your collection, and it could even make you a small fortune down the line. Now, let's talk condition. Like most valuable coins, the 1984 no-mint mark penny needs to be in great shape to fetch that sky-high price. If you find one of these coins, it better not have been used as a skateboard by your younger sibling or gotten dinged up in your coin jar for years. In mint condition, you're looking at something worth around $2.8 million. But if it's worn down or has noticeable damage, it's probably only worth a fraction of that. So, keep an eye out for one that's been preserved well and is in top-notch condition. While it's rare to find one in circulation, these coins do pop up from time to time. Coin shows, auctions, and online marketplaces are where you'll see collectors and dealers flipping these babies around like they're the golden ticket. So, keep your eyes peeled. Now, let me tell you a little personal story from my own coin collecting journey. A few years ago, I was going through some old pennies I'd inherited from my grandfather. Nothing too special, just a bunch of the usual suspects, Lincoln pennies, some wheat pennies, and a couple of those shiny ones from the 80s. I didn't think much of it until one day I spotted a penny that looked a little off. No mint mark. At first, I didn't think much of it. I mean, who cares about a penny, right? But something told me to dig a little deeper. So, I did what any self-respecting coin collector would do. I started Googling. I started seeing these stories pop up about rare minting errors, and bam! There it was. This penny I thought was just another old coin turned out to be a rare 1984 no-mint mark penny. I couldn't believe it. Unfortunately, my penny wasn't in mint condition, so it wasn't worth millions like the ones you see in auctions. But the thrill of realizing I had something rare was enough to make me seriously consider keeping a closer eye on my spare change. Never underestimate the power of a little research and a keen eye for detail. Even the smallest coin can hold a lot of value if you know what to look for. The 1984 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is not just a rare piece of history, it's also one of the best examples of why you should never overlook those pennies in your pocket or change jar. Who knows, you might be sitting on a gold mine without even realizing it. If you've got old pennies lying around, it might just be worth taking the time to check them out. You never know what kind of treasure you could find hiding in plain sight. And while you're at it, remember to keep an eye out for those rare coins with minting errors. They could be worth a lot more than just a couple of bucks. Now, before I wrap this up, I've got one last thing to say. If you enjoyed learning about this incredible coin and want to stay in the loop on more tips about valuable coins and strategies for collecting, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more ways to turn your pocket change into a small fortune. Thanks for watching, and remember, whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone looking to learn a little more about coins, you've got the power to spot treasure in your own hands. Alright, grab your change jar, check your pockets, and maybe take a good look at that pile of pennies you've been ignoring for years. Because today, I'm about to tell you about a penny that could make you a millionaire. Yes, you heard me right. A penny, worth a whopping $2.9 million. So, how does a humble coin like the 2001 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny suddenly become the talk of the numismatic world? Well, stick around, and I'll break it down. By the end of this video, you'll be checking your spare change more carefully than you've ever checked your bank account. Before we dive into this golden nugget of info, let me tell you about a time when I almost missed out on a huge coin opportunity. Trust me, it involves a random trip to the gas station, a penny, and a whole lot of regret. Let's just say, I'm kicking myself to this day. But don't worry, I'm here to make sure you don't make the same mistake. So, get comfy, because you might be about to find a treasure in your own pocket. First off, you've got to understand how coins work, and why some are more valuable than others. Most pennies you find in circulation are what we call regular mint coins. These coins are stamped with a mint mark to show where they were made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But this is where things get interesting. The 2001 no-mint mark penny was produced in Philadelphia, but there was a rare error where the mint mark was left off. Now, I know what you're thinking. How does something like a missing letter turn a regular penny into a multi-million-dollar coin? Well, it's all about rarity. You see, when the US Mint made this mistake, they unknowingly created a coin that was incredibly rare, and as collectors and coin enthusiasts got wind of this, they started to go crazy for it. The coin's value skyrocketed because collectors knew they had stumbled upon something special. It wasn't just another penny, it was a piece of US history with an error that would make it stand out for years to come. Now, when I first heard about this coin's value, I was kind of in disbelief. I mean, who thinks a penny could be worth millions? But this coin is proof that in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest details can make a huge difference. Let me take you back to a personal story. A few years ago, I went on a little adventure to a yard sale, because, let's be real, you never know what kind of treasure you'll find. There I was, sifting through old books, random knickknacks, and yes, a jar of coins. At first, I almost skipped over it, thinking it was just filled with outdated change. But something caught my eye, a penny, much like the ones I had seen in countless coin rolls growing up. It wasn't shiny and new, but it had that nice coppery look, and I felt a weird urge to check it out. Turns out, it was a 2001 penny. Now, I don't want to get your hopes up, this one wasn't the no-mint mark variety. But still, it was a reminder to always keep your eyes peeled. Just one of those little moments that gets you thinking, what if? And hey, that's what you've got to remember when collecting coins. Sometimes, those pennies in your wallet or sitting at the bottom of your change jar could be worth way more than their face value. In the case of the 2001 no-mint mark penny, it's the error and rarity that make it a collector's dream. The 2001 no-mint mark penny looks exactly like the regular 2001 penny from Philadelphia, except for that little detail, no mint mark. Like any valuable coin, the condition matters. The better condition the penny is in, the higher its value. So, if your penny looks like it's been through a few too many laundromats, you might be out of luck. But if it's still shiny and well preserved, you could be looking at a small fortune. As I mentioned, the no-mint mark penny was made in Philadelphia, so it's pretty common to find them circulating across the country. The real trick is spotting one when it crosses your path. Keep an eye out. I also need to mention that, while the $2.9 million value is mind-blowing, that's for the best condition of the coin. In less than perfect shape, the value might still be impressive, but it won't hit the same insane price. So, always check the quality before you get too excited. And speaking of checking your change, it's not just about the pennies, there are other coins worth more than you might think, and you could be holding onto one without even knowing it. Alright, folks, here's the deal. If you've got a jar of pennies lying around, now's the time to go through it. You might just have a 2001 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny hiding in there, worth $2.9 million. And if not, hey, you might still find a few other gems along the way. I know this story has me digging through my own coins once again, and I'm sure it's got you thinking the same. Coin collecting is about more than just the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the history behind each coin, and, let's be honest, the joy of finding that rare gem. If you want more tips, tricks, and secrets about coins worth big money, be sure to subscribe. Don't miss out on more stories, strategies, and coin collecting hacks that could turn your hobby into a potential fortune. So, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment if you've ever found a coin that surprised you, and stay tuned for more. So, picture this: you're rummaging through your spare change, maybe sipping on some coffee, and you stumble upon a penny that just looks a little off. It's got a mint mark, sure, but this one's a bit different. You give it a closer look, and boom! You realize it's a 2017 Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? It could be worth up to $3 million. I know, sounds like something out of a coin collector's dream, right? But here's the kicker: it's not a 1 in a million chance. This penny could actually be the goldmine you didn't know you were sitting on. Stick around as I break down how this 2017 penny became a serious contender in the coin world, and why you might want to start keeping an eye on your change jar. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Alright, let's dive in and talk about the 2017 Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking: a penny? Really? Worth that much? Well, my friend, it's not your average penny. The value of coins fluctuates all the time, but this little guy stands out, and it's not just about how shiny it is or how well it was preserved. This coin has a fascinating backstory that might just blow your mind. First off, the 2017 penny wasn't anything extraordinary when it was first released. It's part of the usual production run, minted in Denver, hence the mint mark, and originally, it was just another penny in the pockets of millions of people across the country. But here's where it gets interesting: over time, this coin became rarer and rarer due to a significant production error that was caught fairly late in the game. A few of these pennies, unbeknownst to most of us, ended up with a mistake that set them apart from the rest. You know how we're always told to check for those rare errors like doubled die, repunched mint marks, or incorrect planchets? Well, the 2017 penny has a bit of a unique error that has driven its value into the stratosphere. Some of the 2017 pennies ended up being misstruck. This can happen when the coin is struck with too much force or the wrong kind of die. In this case, a number of these pennies were struck with an incorrect die that made the Lincoln portrait a bit too sharp and distinct, giving the coin a unique, collectible quality that set it apart from the mass-produced ones. This unique error, when recognized by collectors and numismatists, sent the demand for these pennies through the roof. As time passed, fewer and fewer of these pennies with the error were found in circulation, and guess what? The value started climbing. Now, a 2017 penny with that mint error can sell for anywhere up to $3 million. Okay, so now you're probably itching to check your change jar, right? But before you go diving into every penny you've got, let's talk about how you can actually spot one of these ultra-valuable 2017 pennies. It's not going to be as easy as grabbing any old penny. You'll want to look for a few key details. As I mentioned, the error gives the Lincoln portrait a much sharper, more distinct look. If you find a penny where Lincoln's face looks almost too perfect, like it's been carefully etched into the coin, you might just have something special on your hands. Remember, this penny has the mint mark, which means it was produced in Denver. If you find a 2017 penny without a mint mark, it's not the one you're looking for. Like with any collectible, the better the condition, the higher the value. Keep an eye out for those that are well preserved and still have that shiny copper glow. If you've got one with minimal wear and tear, it's definitely worth investigating further. Now, let me tell you a little story from my own experience. A few years ago, I was in the same boat, just casually flipping through some old coins I had lying around. I wasn't expecting much, just a few nickels, dimes, and pennies that had probably seen better days. But then, I came across a penny that looked just a bit different from the others. The image of Lincoln seemed a little too crisp, almost like it had been freshly printed on the coin. I decided to do a little digging, and it turned out I had stumbled across a rare 1990 penny with a minting error. It wasn't worth millions like the 2017 but I was still able to sell it for a decent chunk of change. What if it had just sat in my jar forever? That's when I got hooked on coin collecting. The thrill of finding that hidden gem is honestly one of the most satisfying things I've ever experienced, and trust me, if you haven't had that moment yet, you're missing out. So, now that you know what to look for with the 2017 penny, you might be wondering, what other coins should you be keeping an eye on? Honestly, the possibilities are endless, and the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. I've come across some pretty crazy coins in my own adventures, and I'm always on the lookout for that next big discovery. Whether it's a rare error coin, a limited mintage coin, or even just one that's in exceptional condition, the more you know, the better your chances are of finding something worth a fortune. Start paying attention to the coins you handle every day. Check the dates, check the mint marks, and don't be afraid to look up coins online if you think something might be worth a little more than face value. You never know what you might find in your own collection. The 2017 Abraham Lincoln penny with a rare mint error could be worth up to $3 million. Yes, you heard that right, $3 million. But don't go thinking all pennies are worth that much. As with any collectible, it's all about the rarity, the error, and the condition. If you want to start hunting for coins like this, remember to keep an eye out for those mint errors, unique characteristics, and of course, check your change every chance you get. And hey, if you want more tips on rare coins, coin collecting strategies, and stories about coin hunting, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got a ton more tips coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. So go ahead, give that bell a ring, and join the coin collecting community.